Welcome to This Explainer. Look, today we're doing something a little different. We're not just rattling off a basic vocabulary list. We are diving into a masterclass toolkit for corporate survival and career acceleration. For this session, I want you to think of me as your highly professional editor, literally an editor for your career. Just like a great editor meticulously trims and selects every single word to craft an undeniable narrative, you have to curate your corporate image through the exact language you use. The words we're covering today are your primary tools. When you use them right, you don't just communicate. You command respect, you demonstrate competence, and you fast-track your path upward. All right, let's dive right in and start editing your professional vocabulary. So I've got to ask, do you truly speak the language of professional success? It's a serious question, because in any corporate environment, your fluency in this specific lexicon completely determines how you are perceived. Ask yourself, are you seen as a junior employee just waiting around for instructions? Or are you a leader who actually drives outcomes? Honestly, the difference often comes down to the precise words you choose to deploy in an email, in a meeting, or during a presentation. We're going to sharpen up that vocabulary today so that every single time you speak, you sound like someone who absolutely owns the room. Here is our agenda for today's explainer. We'll start with daily communication, then move into meetings and correspondence, elevate to management and business strategies, navigate HR in your career path, and finish up with practical application for success. Let's start with Section 1, Daily Communication, building the foundation of your workday. Now, these right here, these aren't just words. They're your action engine. Notice the verbs we're using: update, review, approve, and confirm. This is a rapid-fire breakdown of how things actually get done. Think about it. When you tell a colleague you're going to give them an update, you're taking total ownership. When you ask a manager to review or approve something, you are propelling a project forward. And when you ask someone to confirm, you are instantly removing ambiguity. As the professional editor of your own workflow, these four verbs are your absolute best friends for signaling extreme competence to your team. Because, the life cycle of a successful task doesn't just happen randomly. We follow a structure. Step 1, you plan, because obviously we need a plan. Step 2, you coordinate the project and the people involved. Step 3, that highly critical moment of execution, you deliver the product. And finally, Step 4, you achieve your goals. By explicitly using these specific vocabulary words in your daily updates, you completely transform what could be a static, boring idea into an active, highly successful workflow narrative. It's a narrative that anyone in management can clearly understand and appreciate. Moving right along to Section 2, Meetings and Correspondence, controlling the corporate narrative. Just consider the architecture of a successful meeting for a second. Without these four pillars, a meeting is honestly just a chaotic conversation. It all starts by setting the agenda, literally defining exactly what is going to be discussed. Then comes the proposal or the presentation where you pitch your ideas. And crucially, it ends with the minutes. That written record of who agreed to do what. So here's the absolute key takeaway. Whoever controls the agenda and writes the minutes controls the entire narrative of that meeting. Master these terms and you master the room. Now let's see how this translates into written communication. And here's where your inner professional editor really needs to shine. On one side, we have the super fast transactional language of internal emails. Words like forward, reply, and attach. These are incredibly fast and functional. But look at the other side. When you're dealing with external entities or serious internal rules, we use weighty, binding terminology: contract, agreement, policy. A professional editor knows exactly when to shift their tone from the casual speed of a reply to the serious, unbending nature of a policy. Knowing that difference protects both you and the company. All right, on to Section 3, Management and Business Strategies, the C-suite lexicon. Okay, let's just slow down for a second and really absorb this concept of strategy. This is a massive, foundational power concept. A strategy isn't just some glorified to-do list. As the definition right here notes, it's a high-level plan to achieve goals under conditions of uncertainty. That last part, uncertainty, or dealing with risk and challenges, is exactly what separates the basic task doers from true business leaders. When you use the word strategy, you're sending a massive signal that you are thinking big picture and anticipating the unknown. So what actually drives that strategy? Well, the executive logic relies on absolute core financial drivers. As a professional, you absolutely have to understand how these words interact. It's simple, but incredibly powerful logic. By carefully managing your cost and actively driving your revenue, a company generates profit. And what do we do with that profit? We turn it into an investment, which inevitably leads to growth. When you speak in terms of cost, revenue, and growth, you are quite literally speaking the native language of every CEO and executive board in the world. Check out this really sharp editorial distinction between two words people mix up all the time: productivity versus efficiency. Productivity is just about output, doing a lot of stuff, but efficiency? That's about doing things right, with the absolute least amount of wasted resources. Just like a great editor trims unnecessary words to make a sentence punchy and perfect, an efficient manager trims wasted time and resources from a process. Understanding and actually using this distinction proves you're focused on the ultimate metrics of management success, not just keeping people busy. Next up is Section 4, HR and Career Path, advancing your professional trajectory. Let's trace the actual stepping stones of your professional life cycle. It all kicks off with crafting a flawless resume and completely nailing the interview. That's what secures you the position. But of course, it doesn't stop there. Once you're inside, your focus naturally shifts to negotiating your salary, earning a promotion based on your stellar performance, and maximizing your benefits. Knowing these terms inside and out means you are actively managing your career path, instead of just passively letting it happen to you. And as you manage that path, understanding the organizational hierarchy is absolutely crucial. The way you speak to a colleague or even your direct supervisor is wildly different from how you present information to a director or an executive. A colleague usually wants all the gritty details, but an executive, they want results and strategy. By defining exactly who you are addressing, you can dynamically adjust your professional tone, much like an editor tailors an article for a very specific audience. Finally, we hit Section 5, Practical Application for Success, bringing the words to life. Take a look at this phrase, "Could you send me the report?" It seems so incredibly simple, doesn't it? But put your editor hat on for a second. From a communication standpoint, it is perfectly balanced. "Could you" provides that necessary professional politeness, while "send me the report" sets a firm, undeniable expectation of a daily task deliverable. It is respectful, yet entirely authoritative. How about this one? "We need to finish the project before the deadline." Notice that word, "we." It instantly creates alignment and teamwork. By combining heavy-hitting nouns like project and deadline into one single, concise sentence, you instantly inject urgency into the room without sounding panicked or frantic. It's just a beautifully crafted statement of intent. Then we have, "Please review the document and give me your feedback." Guys, this is literally a masterclass in professional collaboration. You're not just dumping a pile of work on someone's desk. By bridging the action verb review with the noun feedback, you are actively inviting constructive input. You're validating their expertise while keeping the entire process moving forward. This is exactly how sophisticated professionals ask for help. Now, consider what I'd call the ultimate C-suite success statement. Our team achieved the target this month. That leaves absolutely zero room for misinterpretation. It takes the collective power of team, combines it with the decisive victory of the verb achieved, and points right at the specific goal of the target. If you want to unequivocally signal high performance to upper management, this is the exact edited phrasing you use to report your wins. To round out your practical toolkit, we've got to talk about problem solving. Because, let's face it, things will go wrong. And when they do, amateur communicators tend to panic. But professional communicators, they pull out these specific words. They identify the issue or the problem totally objectively. They track the progress. They focus on the final result. And most crucially, they back up absolutely everything they say with data and information. Using this specific vocabulary frames challenges clinically, and it proves to everyone that you're a highly rational problem solver. So, the big question. Which of these words are you going to use today? You now possess this curated, highly edited lexicon of professional English. You understand the foundational verbs, the strategic nouns, and the exact sentence structures that command respect. Do not just file this information away. Take one of these words right now, whether it's efficiency, strategy, or achieve, and purposefully inject it into your next email or meeting. Edit your communication, elevate your career, and start speaking the true language of professional success. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.